I love lasagna in all of its size, shapes, and flavors, but how many of you have ever tried a white creamy lasagna? Oh, they're out of this world delicious, and I'm going to show you how to do it coming up right now on Cooking with Chef Bryan. Welcome everybody to Cooking with Chef Bryan. I'm Chef Bryan and I'm so excited to show you how to put together a delicious lasagna today, but it's not a traditional one like you may be thinking when you hear the word lasagna. This is going to be a white creamy lasagna and it's going to be made with Italian sausage. So first of all, we're going to start by getting the Italian sausage browned up here. So let's just turn on the frying pan here, get that going there. I'm also going to take some onion. I'm going to just chop it up and I'm going to add it in with the Italian sausage there. So let's just get this going there. And get this all chopped up nicely there. Add that in with the Italian sausage. And the difference between this one, rather than using a tomato sauce, we're going to be using a bechamel sauce or a white sauce. And so that's a big difference when it comes to lasagna, and some of you may never have had it that way. Now I've already cooked the lasagna noodles and I simply followed the package directions, and that's all you have to do when you cook up the lasagna is just to follow the package directions, because sometimes depending on the brand of lasagna noodles that you get have a little different instructions. And sometimes you may get the parboiled lasagna noodles, which don't require cooking prior to making lasagna. You can just actually add them into the lasagna and it cooks in the oven. I've actually made a lasagna before using just regular lasagna noodles that you didn't cook before. You just added them in there. They had lots of sauce on them. You covered it. It went into the oven for about 45 minutes and the noodles cooked while in the oven. And that's a great recipe too, but these I just cooked up so they're ready to go. So I have the Italian sausage in here. This is a mild Italian sausage with the onions. I did add just a little bit of olive oil for the onions to get those going. And I'm going to add some minced garlic. Now earlier on one of the shows I was kind of laughing that I do use minced garlic from a jar, and so I really do use it. I'm using it right now. And I have many people that will tease me about it saying, oh, you're a chef, you shouldn't use the garlic from a jar. Well, let me tell you something. It's really convenient to do that. Can I use fresh garlic, or can you use fresh garlic in it? Absolutely you can. It's just that for the convenience, I'm going to use that one there. So once this gets all sauteed up and the meat is going to get nice and brown, I'm going to add some flour into it to start to create a roux, because I'm going to create the white sauce right in with the sausage here. And so that's where it's going to get all of its delicious flavor, is from the sausage that's into there. So a little bit of salt, a little bit of pepper is going to go into there as well. Now while this is cooking, I do still want to create up the ricotta cheese mixture. So this is going to have a combination of the ricotta cheese as well as the sausage and white sauce. To make the ricotta cheese mixture, I just got the ingredients at Smith's. You can grab it there, a couple of eggs, and I'm going to add the ricotta right into my bowl with a couple of eggs, mix it all together. The eggs are very important. It's exactly what you want in here, because that's going to help it set once it starts to cook in the oven. So that's important. If you've ever made a lasagna that's kind of runny, it could be a couple of things. First of all, you may not have gotten the meat well drained enough. The tomato sauce that you're using may have a lot of water in it, so you may need to drain or strain some of that out. Or the ricotta cheese mixture doesn't have enough eggs in it to set everything. And so it's just kind of one of those things that when you're making lasagna, you just kind of trial by error and see how it does. Also, if you serve lasagna too hot, it can run. So you need lasagna to cool just a little bit so that it doesn't run as much. Is runny lasagna any different from taste-wise from just non-runny lasagna? Absolutely not. They're all delicious. So that's the fun thing about lasagna. I'm going to use my whisk. I'm just going to whisk this together in there so that it combines. This is going to be, like I said, a combination that we're going to add in with the white sauce and the Italian sausage. So now that's all ready to go. And that is so easy. I do want to add a little bit of salt and pepper. I am using a seasoned salt and black pepper mixed together in there. I like the seasoned salt because it has all the other flavors of celery and garlic and onion. And I just think that adds a lot of flavor to it. So this I'll just set over here until we're ready to start assembling our lasagna. So the meat is almost cooked up here. It's smelling fantastic. It's smelling like Italy in there. So very simple. Once that's all cooked up, I'm gonna just sprinkle it with some flour. And I'm gonna add, mix that all into there. And then I'll just pour the milk right into there and let that thicken up to create our white sauce. Let that come up to a boil and it's gonna thicken up nicely and it's gonna be our white sauce for the lasagna. This also reminds me of biscuits and gravy because it's the same way that you would make biscuits and gravy with sausage for breakfast. So I'll keep working here, guys. When we come back in just a minute, this will be thickened up and ready to go, and we'll continue on with the assembly of the lasagna. It's seriously a great idea for dinner. So don't go away. I'll be right back.
It's no secret, frozen rolls are fresher than bakery rolls. You see, bakery rolls are made in commercial bakeries. Then they sit all day in stores. Some even contain preservatives because rolls begin to stale immediately. By the time you eat your roll, it could already be days old. Rhodes Bake and Serve is found in your grocer's freezer. Simply take Rhodes frozen roll dough home and let it thaw and rise in a pan. Bake Rhodes rolls in your own oven. Rhodes Bake and Serve, hot and fresh, right out of your oven.
Welcome back, everybody, to Cooking with Chef Bryan. I'm having all kinds of fun in the kitchen, showing you how to do a delicious, creamy white lasagna. Now, let's be honest, how many of you have had a white lasagna before? It's actually very easy to do. Earlier, I browned up some Italian sausage here with some onions and garlic to it, added some flour to create a roux with it, and then poured in some milk. I've let that come up to a boil now. It's simmered for just a few minutes to be sure those starches are cooked and is thickened up nicely. Now, if you didn't realize it, this is also the same stage. If you wanted to take this, serve it over biscuits, you'd have biscuits and gravy for breakfast if you wanted to do it. I'm going to make just a small 8x8 pan of lasagna, which is, you know, if you want, you can do 9x13. But for purposes, I'm going to show you just on the smaller pan how easy it is to put lasagna together. So here are the noodles, and I cooked them earlier. And the thing about noodles, if you've already cooked them and you don't want to use them right away, just put them in cold water. They won't stick together if that's the case. And so I've had these in cold water just until I was ready to use them to put it together. To start off the lasagna, first of all, we're going to add a little bit of sauce on the bottom of the pan. This is going to prevent the noodles from sticking to the bottom of the pan. So it's very important to do that. I did also spray the pan so it has a little bit of vegetable oil on it, but that's just fine. You can do, if you have a nonstick pan, you don't need to spray it if you don't want to. One thing though I do want to do now, I'm going to add, hope I got all that wiped off so you don't have to look at a dirty pan there. I'm going to add some power greens to it. So, you know, like the beet greens you buy, the spinach, those types of things. I'm going to add those into there and let those wilt. And it doesn't take a lot to wilt the greens like this, and so the residual heat of the sauce itself will wilt those up beautifully, because I do want a little green and a little more color in our lasagna. So very simple to do. Add that into there. You could do chopped up broccoli, chopped up cauliflower if you wanted to add a little more texture, and those greens have already wilted. That's as easy as it is to wilt up those greens. So as far as the noodles here, I have some that are already cooked. I'm just going to lay some down there on it. Sometimes, you know, the noodles are fairly long, and so if I need to, I can take those, I can cut them in half, depending on whatever the size of the pan is, so that you can be sure to get the right size in the pan that you're using. I'm going to cut that in half so I can cover up that bottom one just fine. So there we go on that. So very simple to do. You can do this at home so easily. Okay, let's start to build now the layers of the lasagna. To do this, I want to finish off our ricotta cheese mixture that we started off with, the ricotta cheese and eggs in it. So to this, I want to add just some Italian seasoning to it. And this is really up to taste of whatever you want to. And I also want to add some Parmesan cheese to it. We're going to use mozzarella in this as well, but not in this. We'll use it as one of the layers when we build the lasagna. And so I just add a nice handful of shredded up Parmesan cheese to it. And that is ready now to go for our layers. So very simple to put together. Let me smell it. I don't know about you guys, but I love the aroma of Italian seasonings. I just think it's so bright and refreshing and delicious. So I'm going to start off with some of our white sauce here with the Italian sausage and the greens in it. And we're going to start to just build these layers. And so we'll just kind of spoon some of that into there. Let that just kind of flop into there. There we go. And then I'm going to move this so it's a little closer to me so I don't make too big of a mess. And then what we're going to do is start with our ricotta cheese. And so just a very simple layering process here. So here's the ricotta cheese that has the eggs, the Italian seasoning in it, has a little bit of the seasoned salt and pepper into it. And when that cooks, it's going to actually thicken up, help to thicken up in there. And we were talking about lasagnas being runny or being too thick. You know, it's in this grand scheme of things, it's all going to be delicious. And so you just have to decide how you want to do it. There were a couple of things that I was talking about. The tomato sauce may be a little too runny if that's what you're doing. Maybe the white sauce is a little too runny. Maybe you don't have enough eggs in the ricotta sauce and so it's not thickening up properly. You know, there are many factors to it, but the bottom line is your family and friends are going to love the lasagna regardless. So we have that now on there. Let's put a little layer of some mozzarella cheese. I always buy mozzarella cheese in the big bags like this because it seems like I go through them so much, the cheese, that it's just easier for me to buy it in the large bags like this. And once you get that, just put some of the shredded mozzarella on there. There we go. And now we're just gonna start and build another layer. And so that's kind of how this all comes together. Lasagna is really fairly easy to do. So I'm going to slice these big noodles in half so that they fit nicely in the pan there. Let's just kind of put those together and start to build those up. You can also add mushrooms to it, olives if you wanted to. There's a lot of different things that you can add into the lasagna. And to be honest with you, it's a great way to clean out your fridge and repurpose leftovers too. So I'll keep working on this here, building this up with some layers. When we come back, we'll keep working on the lasagna. I can't wait to show you how easily this all comes together.
As summer comes into full swing, it's time to fire up the grill and treat your family to a special outdoor meal featuring everyone's favorite Klondike brand potatoes. Enjoy preparing one of our many chef-inspired recipes from the web, or create your own backyard culinary masterpiece using varieties from the full line of Klondike potatoes. Visit KlondikeBrands.com today for hundreds of recipe ideas and make your summers sizzle with Klondike Brands.
Welcome back everybody to Cooking with Chef Bryan. We've been working on a delicious white creamy lasagna today. It's a very simple dish to put together, and I finished assembling everything. It's just layers of the noodles, the filling, the noodles, the filling. Finished it off with a little bit of mozzarella cheese and some Parmesan cheese. Gave it a little sprinkle with some Italian seasoning, and it has now gone into the oven. It'll bake in the oven for about 30 minutes, but here's word for the wise. Always put it on a baking sheet because inevitably it's gonna boil over, and you don't want that mess boiling onto the bottom of your oven. So always put it onto a baking sheet so that if it does boil over, which it probably will, it'll be caught so it doesn't make a big mess on the bottom of your oven. I wanted to put together a fun, just an easy little green salad to go with it because I love green salads with Italian pastas like this because I just think it's very Italian for that matter. I've started off with some of the mixed greens. These are the same ones that we put into the lasagna. So now can you see a trend that we're tying everything together with the lasagna? And I think that's important when you do foods so that you tie everything together so that it has a wonderful flavor and resemblance of everything that you're making and presenting. I just have some onion that I'm going to sprinkle on top of it. And I do enjoy putting salads on a plate like this because then everybody gets something of everything. It's not in a bowl. When you toss it and all the fillings and that go onto the bottom of the bowl, regardless of how well you toss it, everybody can get some flavors of things that are going to go onto there. And now I'm just going to use some Roma tomatoes to put on there. I'm going to slice those up and just arrange those around so that they help to decorate that. And I also notice that berries were on sale at the grocery store, and so I wanted to use some fresh strawberries on the salad as well, and I thought that would be really good. So when you do strawberries, you want to be sure to hull them, which means you're going to take off the stems, and I'm going to show you a fun little trick, very easy to do with that. You can use your knife and chop off the tops if you want, but honestly the easiest way to do it is just to get a spoon, and we're going to just snap off that top on it there. And let's finish putting those onto it. There we go. There's our nice little tomatoes. Sprinkle the rest of those onions onto there. You can use a red onion. You can use a yellow onion. You can use whatever kind of onion that you have. It's up to you. With the strawberries, what I was saying is just use a spoon like this and just kind of dig right into there and pop off the top. And so it's very easy to hull is what that's called. To me, it's just take off the greens, the part of it. So we're going to take those off. And then you can slice those up however you would like to. I'm just going to thinly slice them and add some of them on top of our salad for just a flavor. They're going to have a nice little sour bite to them, which I think is going to contrast beautifully with the balsamic vinegar, which has a sweet overtone onto it. So once we get those all cut up, let's just add those. Let's do one more for good measure on there. And then I wanted to add some avocado. Avocados were on sale too, and so I love avocados. I think they're very delicious. When you do an avocado, you're going to take it. You're going to take your knife and you're just going to go right down to the seed very carefully. Take your knife, let it just come around until it meets the other cut end on this side. Remove your knife. Give the avocado a twist and that opens it up. To remove the seed, put it onto your cutting board, take your knife and just kind of push it down into there and give it a twist, and that's going to remove that seed. By all means, don't grab it with your hands at this point. That is not a wise thing to do. I take a dish towel, grab hold of it so that my hand is protected, remove the seed, and the seed now is, you can do with it as you wish. So I'll just set that there in the sink. Not a smart thing to let it go down the disposal, however, so be sure it goes into the trash. So I'm going to add some avocado on top of there. To do that, I'm just going to take my spoon. I'm going to go right down into the avocado so that it looks like slices. I'm going to arrange those around the top of our green salad here. Very delicious. Let's just do, a couple more. One more right here in the center. There we go. What I want to do now is just to finish it off with a little bit of Parmesan cheese. I'm going to drizzle it with some balsamic vinegar and olive oil, a little bit of salt, a little bit of pepper, and we're going to have our salad that's completely done. I can't wait for you to try this recipe. So simple to do and so refreshing. So let's just finish that off. When we come back, we're putting it all together. Delicious creamy white lasagna with a green salad.
It's no secret, frozen rolls are fresher than bakery rolls. You see, bakery rolls are made in commercial bakeries. Then they sit all day in stores. Some even contain preservatives because rolls begin to stale immediately. By the time you eat your roll, it could already be days old. Rhodes Bake and Serve is found in your grocer's freezer. Simply take Rhodes frozen roll dough home and let it thaw and rise in a pan. Bake Rhodes rolls in your own oven. Rhodes Bake and Serve, hot and fresh, right out of your oven.
Welcome back, everybody, to Cooking with Chef Bryan. We have been working on the most amazing lasagna. This is a white lasagna, creamy white lasagna with Italian sausage. And so it's a little different from maybe what you're used to. When I say lasagna, you may think of the red sauce with the Italian herbs and things like that. This is a white sauce, and it's just come out of the oven, and it is hot. But I went ahead and plated that up so you could see how beautiful that is. Nice and browned right on top with the cheese that we put in there. All the flavors of the white sauce, the Italian sausage, herbs and spices. Oh, it is so delicious. I seriously can't wait for you to try it. If you want it to hold together a little bit better, let it cool off a little bit more. That way the cheese is going to set up and it's going to hold together just that much better. But either way you look at it, it is going to be delicious. I finished off our green salad here with a little drizzling of some balsamic vinegar, which is going to be sweet as compared to the tartness of the strawberry, so it's going to be delicious. And some extra virgin olive oil, just drizzle it all over there with a little sprinkling of some seasoned salt and pepper on top. So very simple with the Parmesan cheese and the flavors to tie together with the lasagna. That's what I always try to do when I'm coming up with a meal, is how can I tie everything together so it's reminiscence of each other. And so that's kind of important when you're doing it, because you don't want something that's so far into left field that when you serve it with something way over here in the right field, they don't kind of go together. And so you always want something that meshes together, ties your food together so that it's a beautiful presentation. Well, a delicious white sauce here. I'm ready to dig in here with the lasagna, my green salad here. It's going to be perfect. And you can head over to cookingwithchefbryan.com, grab the recipe on the website, as well as hundreds and hundreds of other recipes. It's always fun to show you how to do things. And as always, thanks for saying hi when you see me out and about. I do appreciate it so much. And it's fun to learn your names and to hear of your great cooking successes. You can find me on social media. The one I pay most attention to is Instagram, Chef Bryan Woolley on there. You can send me a direct message on there if you're having problems with your cooking, and I'll see if I can help you to resolve it, because everybody deserves delicious food, everyone. Thanks for joining me today. I hope you enjoyed the white sauce lasagna here with the Italian sausage. It's a winner your family and friends are going to love. See you all next time. You can find all of these complete recipes on my website, cookingwithchefbryan.com.